The Conservative MPs continue their infighting and plotting. The Prime Minister is still in hiding, and there's an attempt to stop the globalist Ramonas from fully taking over the government. Okay, as the good, normal people of the country are still struggling with the cost of living crisis and the energy security crisis and everything else, yes, people in Westminster are still busy and spending their time in the Westminster pubs and restaurants, plotting and having secret meetings to replace prime ministers every 10 minutes. Now that we have Liz Truss, no one knows where she is really. I mean, by the time I make this video and it's released, hopefully we've seen her. Hopefully, as you watch this, you've probably seen her face somewhere. But we did see that earlier today. She wasn't in the House of Commons addressing, well, she wasn't actually directly replying to Keir Starmer, decided to send someone else. Now, that aside, there is an attempt, as we've seen, from the certain type of the Tories. You got the Rishi Sunak and Jeremy Hunt types. Jeremy Hunt is basically in charge of the government agenda now, so that is a very interesting Tory coup. And so the allies of Rishi Sunak are trying to install him as the unelected leader of the Conservative Party and Prime Minister. There is a bit of a pushback, so some people are now recommending Ben Wallace, the Defense Secretary, to stop Rishi Sunak from winning. It's kind of like reminding me of 1990s when around 89-90 when there was this discussion about getting rid of Maggie Thatcher, and then in 1990 you had obviously Heseltine trying to start a coup, and then they used John Major to stop Heseltine from taking over. So it seems like Ben Wallace is the new John Major and Rishi Sunak is Michael Heseltine. But it is a very fascinating kind of an example of what's going on in the history of the Conservative Party. Ben Wallace himself might actually resign, by the way, because he said, if we don't increase defense spending, I'm not going to stay anyway. But this is the update from Westminster. Allies of the Prime Minister claimed that the plotting was part of the vendetta by a group of former public school boys who can't get over the fact that they were beaten by a woman. A senior Tory MP predicted that the party would split if Mr. Sunak was forced on the public by MPs. Former leadership contender Penny Mordaunt was said to be stepping up her courting of colleagues ahead of another pitch at the job. One faction of MPs astonishingly argued for the return of Theresa May as a caretaker leader. And Liz Truss herself tried to regain some political momentum by preparing to introduce a new anti-strike laws. No one cares about the last one at this point because everyone's just busy trying to digest all that information. Everybody's coming out of nowhere. Theresa May, what? Penny Mordaunt, Rishi Sunak, potentially Ben Wallace. I mean, where are the Conservatives? Do we have any Conservative options actually running? I mean, why they even... Oh, I don't know what's going on anymore. I think we're just going to have to wait. All these updates I'm going to be doing on the channel today and tomorrow and the rest of the week, we might see Liz Truss being ousted by the end of the week anyway. We might not. But all these updates will be so short and quick because every 10 minutes something changes and we have to stay up to date. We have to keep you guys informed because it is important to know exactly where we stand with these idiots. If you're going to be ending up voting for a different party like Reform or anyone else, it's important to know why you're going to be voting for them and not the Tories or the Labour Party. It is absolutely embarrassing. That's the moral of the story. Now we're going to take a quick break. Going to come back in half an hour. We're going to tell you about how the other cabal, the globalists, the corporate globalists who are working with the Labour Party to bring in Keir Starmer as our Prime Minister. Yes, subscribe to the channel. I'm Tousi and we are the media.